Okay, so day 2 here. I needed to get a declaration of value for the state of Washington for when I register it tomorrow. So I walked down, there's a Best Western here, and walked down and was able to use their office. They let me kindly print it off. And so I have got that filled off. The owner of the travelall gave me 2 toolboxes yesterday to use, and I need to drop those off at his house on my way out of town. So I'm headed back up to the International. We'll see if I can get it to fire on day 2. Hopefully it runs even better than yesterday, and then we'll try limping it over to his place and then south to my friends, where I'll load it up with the stuff, try to take off tomorrow or the next day, depending on what I decide to go through. I think I need to go through the carburetor and just do a bit more driving with it to make sure that it's gonna make it. So that's the goal. Starting it up, I just fired it off about 3 seconds ago and gave the gas pump about 3 pumps and it fired right off. It's running a little high idle, so there's that, but I'm not worried about it. Oil pressure looks good. Temperature, of course, cold. Not blowing any smoke today, which is nice. So I think what was in the exhaust and in the cylinders burnt off after sitting for a while. So we'll let it warm up a little here, and then I'm gonna go drop off the toolboxes the guy loaned me and wander on south, see how far I get. Drove it down south about 55 miles without too much of an issue. I noticed the left front wheel hub was getting a little hot. I stopped about 15 miles into it just to check all of them and make sure we were good. And it appears that first I thought the brake was dragging, and got it back to my friend's place, got it up, and for whatever reason my phone will not let me turn it around here. We'll just run it this way then. Got it up, pulled it off, and I could take the center spindle nut off by hand. Obviously not torqued to spec and backed off like it should be. So whoever is doing it, but it looks like all the brakes were redone and everything was well greased. Threw gloves over the spindles just to protect what was there and sprayed off any dust that's there, just because I'm in there. Probably will go ahead and grease up the front end while I got the wheel off. Everything's easy to get to, and then throw those back together and torque them to spec. Go from there. The temp sender is not working, so the connection may be bad, but I need to go through and clean that out, pull a cap rotor, make sure that's clean. I'll probably go hit the pressure washer and wash everything down. Needs a new air filter as well. Pulled that one, can't see daylight through it, so that may be what's causing some of the idle issues as well. Okay, so that wraps up day 2. We'll start day 3 here in a moment. It was a great day and a fun drive that evening. Okay, so with the help of my friend, able to throw some new plates on it, and got the rear tailgate to open. Still have the back of it loose. We'll tighten that up so it opens and closes now. Power window works all the way up and down after some work last night. Getting closer. Well, it's running better. I've got the tailgate to open and close now, which is good. Still, this tire's a little low, and you put some air in it, but the brake lights are staying on continuously. I'll see if I can provide some shade. So I'm gonna adjust the brake light switch. Bled all the brakes with the help of a friend, and stops a little better. Had to adjust one of the front as it was over tensioned, but it was smoking as they're going down the road because it was mainly brake fluid that had been from bleeding it. But getting it closer, and maybe for tomorrow departure. Okay, so I have a brake failure light on the dash. My pedal just sinks to the floor when I step on it. Was on the freeway and was able to get off, trying to limp back to the house where I can maybe get some parts and have a vehicle to run around with. So that's where I'm at right now. We'll update more as I figure out. I've got just a little bit of brake when I get all the way to the floor, and I've been using the emergency brake with it. Stopped here in traffic now, and it's still edging with it floor down here, but yeah, part of the adventure. Okay, so I got it back here in one piece. About 10 miles, no brakes. Emergency brake and downshifting, neutral. Didn't have to throw it in reverse or park, but had someone cut me off and almost had to get there. My guess is, and I just sprayed it down with WD-40 to loosen up the bolts, but my guess is that the master cylinder is bad and that I'm getting no pressure out of the piston. Probably one of the O-rings in it went bad. Bled all the brakes this morning and got those all up and going. So I had them adjusted, was working well, and then lost the master cylinder. Okay, so that wraps up day 3. I don't recommend ever driving without brakes. It's a risk to yourself and to others. I was able to get the vehicle stopped, get off the highway, and then limp it home on back roads very slowly and carefully. It didn't really have any brake pedal left, but between the emergency brake and the transmission, I was able to get it home in one piece. We'll tackle this a little more tomorrow with figuring out what's going on, replacing the master cylinder, I think, and then going from there. Part of the day was that I got to drop in on my friend Sarah, and after her round of chemo, and she gave me this pillow that just fits the trip and also her battle and the battle to get this little thing across the country too. So very different struggles, but we had a good laugh and a good time laughing at the vehicle and life. So thankful for her and her friendship, and rooting for you, Sarah, if you watch this.